I saw someone make a quote the other day or said something. It was like, you're never gonna regret spending more time with your kids. You're gonna regret working too much. How much success or how much failure you have in your business, you're never gonna regret spending too much time with your kid. And 100%. It's like, all right, well, that really hit me. It really did.
In our wheelhouse, exactly what you're talking about.
It hit me so hard, man.
My son was born, that first 2 years, like I knew I loved him. I knew I wanted to be an amazing dad, but I didn't have that connection and that bond. Like he still needed his mother. My wife did everything. Now that's my guy, and I realize I gotta find that balance.
You have to give yourself some grace because you guys at least have been able to modify. You have the awareness to plug and play. But
which is true success.
Well,
you're growing. You're growing. Your awareness. Your awareness. The growth that's what's occurring, which is.
Guys, before we get started, just want to let you know, if you have any questions for us, please click the link below. You could ask us any questions via email, and we'll get back to you by the end of the episode. All right, guys, we're here for episode 31 of the Modern Man's Podcast. We have a very special guest with us, AJ, the owner of Thrive, which is a whole darn vibe over there that he's got. I don't know where he gets his employees from. They're always super nice, super friendly, and he created an awesome, awesome recovery lounge, which is right in our wheelhouse of feeling better, getting better, helping navigate life as guys. We know how much pressure it is out here. If we could find an hour over there in a sauna, cold plunge, freaking massage chairs over there. It's just male spa day. He's got the shirt on. He's talking about it right before we got on. And I'm like, damn, I wish I was there right now. But AJ's got 2 kids. He's a girl dad, which we know is so special. Billy and I have daughters as well. So we're really happy to have you, AJ, man. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it. I've been, we've talked about getting on here for a while now. Busy lives with the kids and work and everything, but we finally carved out the time to get in here. I'm happy to be here.
Bro, carving out time, I've come to realize is so difficult, especially now Max started playing Little League. Bro, we had 3 games last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, plus practices. We have a game tonight. He's at CCD. Just making time is brutal, but I've realized in the last 31 weeks, you have to make time for yourself.
You do.
So for me, and maybe you'll have a similar experience, I know Pete has, just sitting here talking is a wonderful release for me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cold plunge without the cold plunge,
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, AJ, his facility is one of the first places I did a cold plunge. And intimidating and scary, but welcoming and comforting. Your staff is second to none. I actually lost my watch there the one time I was there, and Gianna at the front desk found it. She scoured the entire recovery lounge for it, found it, held it for me, called me, and I came back and grabbed it. But it was a truly pleasurable experience up there.
Awesome.
So I just want to give you a little credit. You've done a great job.
I appreciate
awesome,
that.
man.
Yeah.
We had Frankie Edgar on here, and Frankie was talking about like jujitsu, and he was talking about like all these different avenues that you can meet good quality people that seem to be like aligned with you or have similar, thought processes. But for me, I usually go by myself. Every time I go over there, I talk to people. And like I talk to people at Dunkin' Donuts, wherever I go, but it's like sure. But they're like, dude, I've gotten into like deep convos with people. Billy went in there, met Matt Tross one day. Matt's telling like his whole life story. It's like, it's one of these rare places in today's world that you could just go and just be real.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
could be vulnerable.
Everyone that goes there is like looking to like feel better and get better. Like whether it's women that are in there, like anyone. I met this, I'm gonna call her a girl. She's probably early 20s. She was there with her mom for the first time, chatting it up with them. Then I go back in there and I had my Run-A-Palooza shirt on. She ran in the half marathon as well. And she was there with her boyfriend the next time.
That's
and
cool.
She's like, oh, I was over there too. And it's just like, it's such a cool community. And I almost feel like you got into it, I don't know if I want to say before it like became big. Like, what was it for you that kind of got you into it?
So let me take this back. So you were just talking about this. I started getting chills actually just you listening to you talk about it because I'm so passionate about this, especially because of the subject of social wellness. So social wellness is that community while doing something within the wellness space together. And, it's not only just going into a singular room and cold plunging or a singular room with a sauna in there. Yeah, you are getting that wellness aspect in that, but you're not getting that social piece. And that's really what that room is about. It's the creation of that, of being able to actually be with that like-minded people, talk, and have that. Because think about it, COVID, we all got separated.
So true.
We got separated so much,
got
and
the chills,
literally 6 feet apart. Everywhere you went, 6 feet apart, 6 feet. Just getting a sandwich, you had to be 6 feet apart. Now it's about bringing people together and actually like you know, just the energy of people. And actually, when you're around people of good energy, how much better does that make you feel? Like, so like that alone, so like that thought process, and I just started thinking about it. I'm like, what else can I add, you know, to my chiropractic, acupuncture, physical therapy that really is allowing for people to do self-wellness, not like, so it's self-care. Yeah. And it's voluntary care. It's not like, oh, I just pulled my shoulder or hurt my neck, I gotta go see the doctor. And yes, that's our core business is at Thrive, is chiropractic, acupuncture, and physical therapy. But I'm like, you know what else can I do that I'm so passionate about that I can add to the business? And when we moved over to Belmar, I had the opportunity to do it. And I was just like, there it is. And I had this crazy vision for it. And that room just fell in my lap to be able to create it and just be perfect. And it's really taken off. You know, and Ed posted that video the other day. It was pretty funny. Me and him were chopping up some videos. And, you know, at the end of the day, like that room to itself was like, all right, hey, you know what? I'm going to build this thing. It's almost like if you build it, they will come. And it was like, if they didn't come, you know what? I'm gonna have a really cool room for myself to just literally have a cold plunge. I could go to work every day before I start my shift or at lunch. I could jump in my cold plunge. I could jump in my sauna. I could do my thing, and you know, the staff could have showers while they go, which they still use to, you know, on lunch breaks and stuff like that. But you know, it's really taken off and it's grown itself. And really, too, is that you mentioned before about, you know, I got into it way before everybody else, and you know, it's been around here and there, but the really big thing that I've discovered over the last 2 years of it being within the business is, you know, all the problems, all the likes and dislikes of people, and really just molding. And now it's like we're really ready to rock and pull this into like the next level. So you're going to start seeing some really cool stuff come out, which is awesome.
Now, were you a cold plunge sauna guy before?
So I actually, you know, which is funny, I had a cryotherapy chamber, a full body one first.
Okay. Can you explain that a little bit? Is that what
ton
we
of
were
health
talking about
benefits.
Saturday?
No. All the research from cryotherapy actually comes out of Europe, and it's actually on cold therapy, which is full body immersion therapy, which is actually cold plunging. It's not cryotherapy. So the whole thing of like when you step into one of those tubes and they shoot liquid nitrogen at you, there's like almost no research on that stuff out there. They pretty much pull it from either cold water immersion or full body cryotherapy, which is actually your head is in a room. It almost looks like a walk-in refrigerator.
Yeah, they rent those now too, cryo chambers, right?
Yeah,
or am I mistaken?
You know what? So we were probably one of the first groups in this whole area, if not New Jersey, to have a full body cryotherapy chamber. Most cryotherapy chambers market themselves as full body, but they're not. The head has got to be inside, and it's full oxygenated. It's not liquid nitrogen. So ours was an electric thing, water through the tubes, and it was like it was a really awesome. It had lights and gadgets. It was a really cool thing. It was like, you know, people saw it and it was like, wow, this is awesome. But it was just too much money to keep the maintenance on. It was insane. After 2 years, it started breaking down on us. And it just didn't allow us to grow and market it, probably because, you know, we'd book a whole day worth of cryotherapy sessions and all of a sudden the thing would be half steam or not running or, you know, all this stuff. And I was just like, you know what, I got to cut my losses. I had the vision to start moving into the cold plunging because the true research was really coming out of cold plunging. And really what I did is I went to a couple spas with I actually went to a spa with my mom years ago up in the the Berkshires. And they had a cold plunge there, and I did it, and I swear I think it was sitting at like 40 degrees or something. And this thing was literally the coldest thing I've ever felt in my life. I was like, I think I put my foot in it. I'm like, this ain't happening. And I really started seeing, I'm like, wow. And then I started just doing the research behind it of like the health benefits, the not only like physical, but mental and behind the athletics. Because obviously, you know, at Thrive, we're so into athletics that, you know, I started being like, what can I bring to this business that it'll going to allow for that like athlete side of things, but also like the dad, the mom, the athlete, the after high school, the after college athlete that can really just use not have to come get a chiropractic adjustment, not have to come get acupuncture needles to be part of Thrive family and be part of the Thrive world. And it's like there's so much more of that now. And it's just like it just unfolded, you know?
It's so wild to me that you had like this vision of this social element, because I love to go there like for myself. And I randomly get into these convos. Like,
But
I
you're
had the
also
leg
very
sleeves on.
sociable, and you love talking to people.
Yeah, like we were talking when we were at Bear and Birch that one day. But like, dude, that place is huge.
Yeah,
like,
it's less intimate.
There's a weird part about it there. Like, place is cool. Like, I went there not too long ago. It's a very cool vibe. But in a weird way, there's an intimidation factor there. Because of the environment of what it is. And it's just not as like, it almost doesn't allow you to open up.
It's almost like going to the mall.
Yes,
because
there's so many people. Yeah.
No, for sure. You know, they're doing good things too. But I was just saying, not to cut you off, but I just think it was so cool that you actually like had that social element vision, and I've just fallen into that every single time I'm there. Like the last time I was there, actually 2 times ago, Sets was there. And I texted Evan right after the half marathon. I tried to book online, and Ev's like, dude, you can come in. So I go in, and I'm like chatting it up with Sets. And there was just, I got into talking with all those people. The next time I was there, I had the leg sleeves on. Oh, no, I went back-to-back days.
Things.
It was the day before the half marathon, and then the day of, I came in after. The day before, I have the leg sleeves on. I'm sitting next to this guy. We happened to get into talking. I couldn't click the thing in. He like shows me how to click in. Now, if you're not in that type of place, for the most part, society sees somebody struggling with something and they're on their phone. They're not worried about it. So I thought it was cool that he was like, "Yo, turn it over." So I guess he happened to have the same thing. But he was a wall cop. He gets into talking. He's telling me all these things about his life. I told him that I'm coming up on 9 years alcohol free. He said his brother stopped. And we're just having real life convos to the point that the sleeves are only 15 minutes. And like we sat there.
They were deflated.
Yeah, we just kept sitting there. And he's like, "Oh, actually, I got to go." But like we had like this great talk. You know, the one guy, I call him Liver King. I don't think he's been around much.
Yeah.
You know, the freaking Liver King. Dude, I meet him for the first time.
He's like a true ocean plunger.
I know he is.
So like he'll be back in the summer when it's more. You know what I mean? He's like, there's again, the intimidation factor of going in the ocean too.
Right.
It's like there's the element of that.
Yep.
So it's like that's tough, but he's like the true ocean plunger. So like he'll be back when it starts warming up, you know?
Yeah.
There's something special about the environment you built, because Pete is very social. I am not. But I walked in my first time there, and I had a 35-minute conversation with Maddie in the sauna.
Talking about like struggles of life.
Real life. Like
addiction,
like
suicidal
he
thoughts.
put it all on
Did
the
you know
table.
him before then?
I met Matt maybe once prior
He's
to
a
that.
good dude.
He's a great
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
He was
No
actually on
idea.
here.
I met him walking in.
Yeah.
And he said Frankie sent him in actually.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, Frankie told me about the place, and he's been coming down he comes down pretty regularly. He's a sneaky guy, because every once in a while I'll walk back there and I just see him in. I'm like, what are you doing
He's
here?
very routine though. Like
Yeah.
he's
Really
got his
cool.
regimen. He's very disciplined. But your facility provided a common place for like-minded guys that were trying to figure life out, and it was intimate enough in the setting where we kind of had to interact. We didn't have a choice.
Right.
Like Bear and Birch is cool.
Remember how
but it's
huge
too
that
much.
sauna was?
Yeah.
Like, we were talking to that one lady, but dude, there's levels. Like you and him are sitting in
We had
that
no
sauna.
choice but to be in each other's faces talking. You know what I'm saying?
But it's like if you don't have to be, if you don't want to be, you can just you could just be like, you know, I'm going to go in the other sauna. I'm going to go on the plunge. I'm going to go put my headphones on, sit in the massage chair.
But
so
I'm looking for that connection.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
I might not realize it, or it might not look like I need a friend to talk to, but like everybody in there, in my experience so far, was kind of there for all the benefits: mental health, physical health, and it allowed me and Maddie to get fucking deep.
Exactly.
I love
Matt
it.
was actually on
That's
here,
cool.
and he told us his whole story, and he got connected with Dave Seidenberg. Dave Seidenberg was with us that day.
Yeah.
Seidenberg's got Inner Champ LLC.
Yeah,
and he's
I've
all
seen
about-
that.
Cold plunge
He's doing great
animal.
stuff.
Yeah, I've been seeing
He
him
did
doing some
duck
cool.
the ocean plunge though, so I think he was scared. I was in there. I don't know where side he was.
Bro, you weren't in there long, cuz.
I was in there though. I was in there.
Yo, that
Oh my
ocean
God.
plunge Saturday was so nice. The turnout was great.
It was
we
a
got
good
a great
day.
workout at Leaks.
My favorite part was the barbecue.
Great lunch. Yeah, the barbecue was on point.
Barbecue was good.
But yeah, dude, being out in the ocean there. I actually went back in the ocean the other day. What was that? Yesterday.
Well, it was peaceful.
Made a point to go in, yeah.
Even though I was only in there for about 15 seconds, I texted you Sunday. Yeah. My wife says, we got to get a new trampoline. Cool. She says, I'd really like to put it in the ground. I think it's an amazing idea. I said, cool, I'll get an excavator. I'll dig a hole. I dig the edges. She goes, yeah, it's 15 foot, so I dig accordingly. Yeah, she read it wrong. It was 18 foot. So I had to redig everything. And I texted Peter. I was like, bro, I could really use a dip in that ocean right now.
You know what's so special about the ocean, though, too, compared to, say, like, you know, the facility we have is there's that earthing aspect. Mm-hmm. You know, you're actually connecting with the earth. There's, you know, the
I was grounding the whole walk back to the car.
Yeah, so there is that aspect of it that, like, you know, obviously an environment and a closed, but it is controlled, which is awesome, you know, for safety reasons and for a little bit of pleasure reasons and just, you know, bouginess reasons, you know, the environment we created. Yeah. But awesome. The earth, that aspect of that health of what you get from that is just, you know, it really is special. I used to swim all the time in the ocean when I was training for triathlon.
Damn. I didn't even know you did a triathlon.
I did 2 half Ironman. Yeah,
low-key diesel. I love that.
And there's so I used to just swim in the ocean almost daily.
That's awesome.
And it's crazy how, like, I think about it and I miss it because of that connection you get with the earth of being, because, like, some people are like, oh, I just swim at the pool at the local Y or, you know, local gyms and stuff. I'm like, it's not the same. Like that you're actually getting the frequencies of the earth. Yep. You know, it's crazy because I'm so passionate about electric medicine too, but, you know, the earth puts off a certain frequency of electric and your body's actually taking that in as medicine at all times. And especially being in the ocean, it's there's nothing better. And that's, sometimes people are always like, why are surfers always in the water? And like, why are they so chill? It's like, now you maybe realize why. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're addicted to it. And they're not just addicted to that rush. They're also addicted to that water of that frequency. It's everything.
Well, they say that, I've done some research on grounding, just because my dad got some health issues, but now I keep seeing the sheet, a grounding sheet. Yep. You plug it in your outlet and it's supposed to completely ground you. And they say the benefits are like really genuinely second to none.
Oh, they're unbelievable.
I mean, is it the same thing?
Oh, big time. Big time. But obviously it's a little controlled and it's actually,
totally.
You know, someone's created, you know, packaged it and he's able to, but there's also ones there's like wrist straps that you could do the same thing, and it's like the same thing. You could just, it's like on a wire, and it plugs into the thing, and it's like a wrist strap or an ankle strap you can wear while you're sleeping. There's some people in my industry that will actually put it on everybody, like when they're treating them, during the treatments and everything like that.
I have to look into it because I think I want to give it a shot for my father.
Yeah,
just. You know, we had a consult with his physician today, and they said, try anything holistic you want. And I got a list of stuff that I want to do.
What's going on with him?
He had a major stroke a few years back, and then a couple hiccups along the way. He just he's going through it. He's got some kidney issues and he's got some hurdles. I just want to give him all the opportunities he can.
Yeah.
So
that's the best way to find answers.
I'd bring him over and try and put him in a cold plunge, but I don't think there's a way to get him in and out. I'd have to bring my tow truck to pick him up, swing him in, drop him in. But,
but they even say certain ages and whatnot. My dad,
it would be too much for him.
Oh yeah,
it would put him right into shock.
There is, you know, it isn't for everyone, and it's almost because the thing is, like, you are stressing the body, like you're voluntarily stressing. Sauna and plunge.
Yeah.
There is a happy medium of stressing the body too much. Some bodies can't handle it, you know. So there is that happy, you know, there's that understanding that and being educated of making that decision.
100%.
You know,
I think we're going with a grounding sheet. For
exactly.
Throwing them in the ocean or something.
With that, you know, like really at this point, just anything.
Just look for small victories.
100%. So like my dad was hitting me up a while back because, you know, you kind of like raise some eyebrows with family members and whatnot when you're out in your cold plunge in January and there's ice boulders in it and putting videos up, breaking the ice in the scooter. So, you know, my dad was like, hey, you know, I was looking up that cold plunge stuff. He's like, you know, you're onto something with that stuff. I'm like, I know. That's why I do it every day. He's like, but, you know, he had quadruple bypass years ago. He's like, but they say if you had any of these type of heart issues, I'm not going to get it. I'm like, hey, listen, dude, you don't get it. You're almost 70.
Yeah.
That's fine. It works for me.
Yeah, I mean, the red light therapy stuff too is awesome. That's, you know, obviously not you're not stressing the body so much and you're getting such benefits.
Okay.
So, you know, something like that, you know, for your dad or your dad, like red light therapy, there's some affordable ones online. My dad does that.
Do you guys offer that at Thrive?
We actually don't. I actually had it. I actually personally purchased these Juve lights that were like 5-10 grand years ago. And they're awesome. I had them on the back of my door, and then when I moved, I just never really set them up. And then I ended up actually giving them to my dad, and he actually used them every day.
Good.
You know, he watches my dogs for me when I go on vacation, so I got an exchange there. I'm like, I gave you the red lights; those things are give them back if you don't watch the dog.
You can get that to a degree with the infrared, though.
Yeah, so the infrared sauna does have near, far, and mid light in there, but it's not. The Juve lights are actual bulbs that are just like you're standing like boom right next to it. Like, especially benefits of like, say, take our cells, like they say like skin, testosterone production, like more hormonal balancing, a ton of great stuff that like that's the research behind those. I definitely like would be the next move I would add is probably red light therapy. Okay. Some of the pricing though is just insane that, so. Of the exchange of where I'll bring it in and how I'll bring it in and stuff like that.
For sure.
I like hyperbaric too, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what they rent. They rent the hyperbaric
I was going to say,
chambers.
what were we just talking about on Saturday?
I think we discussed hyperbaric chambers.
Yeah. What's that guy's name?
Which guy?
That was there that has like motivated. He's got
Danny.
From, Danny was talking about something that we said, okay, we should probably try that.
So he's got an app that's not like a coaching thing. It's Mindset Made or something like that, the Mindset app, and it's strictly about accountability. Okay. So like I downloaded the app, and it talks about cold plunging, workouts, if you were kind to somebody, whatever. It's actually a pretty cool app, and their goal is just to build a network of people that can keep each other accountable and share ideas and theories, just like kind of we're doing sitting here.
You know,
it's pretty cool.
Unfortunately, in this world, we were talking about it a little bit earlier before we got on about like kind of like the world that we're living in now in 2024. What happened to like the accountability just being the reflection in a mirror? Like he's got great stuff going on, but I hear more and more people saying, "Hey, can you hold me accountable?" And it's like,
so I'll speak to that because I need accountability.
Yeah.
That's why I'm with Robbie 3 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that in a way, and it totally is there, but in this day and age, like, where, like, you know, taking it to the next level. Like, sometimes that accountability does need to be, and sometimes it does motivate you. I mean, think about it. You as a kid with a coach.
Exactly.
You know, who held you accountable?
Yeah.
Coach.
Right,
Who held you accountable? Your parents. Like, you know,
and
at the
we're
same
out
time,
here in the real world as adults, and we have to hold ourselves in our whole life. Somebody else was.
Yeah, but think about it. As adults, now I'm accountable to pay the bills. I'm accountable to be a good father. I'm accountable to be a good husband.
Right. The stuff
If somebody yeah, like that's the stuff that I need to hold myself accountable for.
Right.
My physical and mental health did fall by the wayside for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I have you to keep me accountable if I'm trying to do a cold plunge, or Robbie to keep me accountable with my physical health, or maybe AJ will get me accountable to get in a sauna at Thrive. You know, it's about the priorities. Now, granted, you're an animal and you discipline yourself very well. So you're in the cold plunge, you're exercising, you're taking care of your business as a man, as a father, a spouse, providing. I'll take care of my business as a man, but I fall by the wayside.
Fall by the wayside.
So I
At least
need
you know that about yourself.
I do, but that's why I know that I need to talk to you about getting in the ocean. On Saturday, I didn't want to fucking do it, but Pete, you know, is standing there. I'm accountable because you're there. What am I going to do? I'm going to look like a punk in front of you and Tommy Russo and everybody that was there. I know I need that.
Right.
So accountability.
You're right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, where are your priorities? You know, and you prioritize everything. I can't. That's why I need the accountability.
Hey, we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, you know, I could totally relate to him, what he's saying. He's like, I ended up hiring a trainer 3 days a week. I mean, think about it. I've done 2 half Ironman. I had coaches. I had coaches during that process. I had guys that built my programs and everything like that. And I actually was I put myself through grad school being a strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
I know how to program.
Right.
I just don't like programming for myself.
Yourself.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, and guess what? I work out 5 a.m. every day of the week. You know, sometimes the weekends, maybe it's 6 or 7, but Monday through Friday, it's 5 a.m. and Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm with a trainer. And it's like, at the end of the day, like I'd rather just show up and just, do the work, get it done, and then have that accountability of getting it done versus all that stuff. And it's same thing with like, I actually really enjoy cooking food. And yes, on the weekends or certain nights, like I actually love going out on the grill. Like I'm a big grill guy. Summertime, maybe, I'm not a humongous drinker, but maybe have a cocktail or whatever it is.
Yeah.
By the grill and everything. But I still do like, I'll get meal prep from different places. I work, my business works really closely with a few of the local guys, Jamie from Eat Clean Bro or Jay from Fit Food.
Right next door.
Yep. Like I think I have a bunch of meals from Fit Food in my fridge, and I think I have a few at the office right now from Eat Clean Bro.
Yeah. And
at the end of the day, it's accountability. It's like, all right, what am I going to go run to a local fast food place or no? I have these great meals that even if I break them up into little, it just works, and it allows for me to actually spend more time with the kids or do these other things, working on the business versus these other things.
For sure.
So like, there's sometimes pulling those little strings sometimes helps a lot.
Definitely, especially when you guys have so much going on with the business and the family and stuff. You're right. It's like, I need to just show up there.
Yep.
Get my workout in. I'm gonna go, but I don't have any more like. My desktop is full.
Correct.
Like, I can't be adding anything else in here.
But with the food, that's a tough one because every option for fast food is local. Eating clean is very difficult. So like you have a couple options and you got your fridge stocked with some good stuff. But like for me, that's where I really need discipline and accountability is with food.
I can imagine.
Like, bro, I just sent my kid to McDonald's to get lunch. Like it's a shit decision, but it is what it is.
That I noticed that just opened. They just opened one in Brick, and then I realized there's one right here by down the street from my office in Freehold is Lavodi's.
Lavodi's is great.
I'm telling you, like, I mean,
they sell Eat Clean
they
Bro
do,
there.
but they also have their own prepackaged meals that are actually really nice and good. And it's like, grilled chicken with some asparagus and some, it's actually a really solid little meals.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool for like what that is like, it's fast, it's easy, it's quick.
And it's quality.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, there are options out there. You guys got to be willing to like, search for it a little bit and,
Yeah, well, you have to be willing to put the time in because it's not like you just pull in, you're on the road, oh, there's McDonald's, let me drive through the drive-thru and I have food in 37 seconds.
Correct.
You have to have a passion to make that change.
Or vice versa, be accountable to, pick up a few meals days in advance or something like that. Or what is that saying? Like if you don't plan about the planning, plan to fail, or whatever, whatever that's freaking saying.
I get it.
It's like,
if you don't plan, you're planning to fail, I guess, or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
But
like-
I understand the
it's true.
sentiment.
Yeah,
it's true.
And like the options are so limited. I used to say like a road trip. Like if you go on a road trip and you don't like prepare, like you're saying, what kind of options do you have?
oh yeah,
Wendy's?
Bojangles.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like before you know it,
Like, that's
it's
all I
like,
think
You're
about.
eating gas station food.
Yeah.
you got nothing.
Yeah.
Dude. You got nothing quality. on the road.
Bucky's, Bojangles, checkers. It's,
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Now you're speaking my
Sheets.
language a little
Yeah.
bit, though. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure, but that food, the way the food is now compared to when we were kids and what's actually in it.
Well, the stuff is dirty, man. Like,
Yeah.
You read ingredients on shit. It's gross. What's in
Oh,
some
The
of this
Doritos
stuff.
we came up on are different than the Doritos today.
100%.
I mean, they were still probably gross then.
They
but,
probably were,
but they're 10 times worse.
Yeah, I feel like there's more on the kids' fingers now, and like the kids, I don't know, man. Not to dive into like the food topic, but like the stuff that is like that the kids enjoy. Like we had football practice last night. Mason asked me to go to Wawa. As I'm talking to one of the coaches during practice about how bad Prime is, and there's this big lawsuit going on, yet they're marketing to the kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the ingredient is. I figured it was kind of, wasn't really that healthy.
Yeah.
But my point was, we go to Wawa, and I'm like, what do you want on the way? He's like, I don't know. We go there. He gets like these gummy these gummy nerds. It's like nerds on the outside, gummy on the inside. So he brings them in, and then his little brother and sister are in there. I see Carter keep going back and forth, coming back with these gummy nerds. I'm like, guys. And I tried to tell Mason, like, that's so bad for you. And we did a whole breakdown. I took a video of it, but I broke down cup of soup, ramen, and protein powder.
So
that
bad.
was our 3 breakdown. So we looked at calories. It was like total fat, sugar, sodium was big for those, obviously, and like protein. So we did this video. I should actually post it. And I had him he threw the cup of soup like out the window. He threw the ramen noodles in the garbage. And then he like held the protein powder. He's like, "We're gonna have protein powder."
There we go. Yeah,
That was a couple weeks ago, right? Because we discussed that.
Yeah. I have to post that though.
Yeah, I was so lucky growing up that my parents actually and my mother, like, they were so against the foods, like bad foods, dyes, and all these things. So I kind of was really ingrained in me growing up, organic foods. Like, this was in the 80s.
Right. Before it became a thing.
Have you heard of macrobiotic?
Yeah.
We ate that in my household. Like, growing up, like,
Good.
I was the kid in school that I couldn't eat the cupcake when the kids brought cupcakes into school. And it's funny that, like, I'm not saying that we're super strict in my house, but, like, I mean, all the food, everyone thinks pretty much organic. It's, dyes and all that type of stuff. So, like, even the snacks that are for the kids, they're from Whole Foods or, whatever it is, or the organic section at the food store, a lot of fruits, vegetables.
It's expensive, too.
It is, but for me,
Better off.
for me.
The hospital bill's going to be more expensive.
Exactly.
Well, they also say with kids, like dyes and stuff like that
it's
translate
so
to
bad.
attention deficits.
Definitely. All that stuff, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, maybe that's why my kid's a little.
Of course, you're not paying attention to school. You had 3 Pop-Tarts right before you
all
walked
the
in.
sugar,
What are
all
you
the
supposed
sugar, the
Yeah.
dyes, all this stuff, and it's crazy. Like you're saying, like the sugar, like we try to keep sugar really low. And guess what? Every once in a while, we'll go out for ice cream.
Yeah.
Kids got to be kids, and the
Right.
family's got to have fun, and have a little bit of. But it's
Meanwhile,
a treat.
my kid's down in a soda.
It's a treat. Like it's. She understands that she did all her homework. She did her. She ate all her dinner. She earned it. Okay,
Yeah.
now we go get we go out for ice cream. Usually it's not in the house, so it's not just there for the reaching, that type of stuff. So it's like very we try to instill that really early.
Yeah.
And her lunch every day is typically that she goes to school with is everything's pretty much organic. She only drinks water. She doesn't drink juice. Juices, again, it's a treat. It's a very special thing that she gets once in a while, and she even realizes that. So it's like, so she gets it, and which is great, and she's seeing that, and not for nothing, very smart little kid. She's there's not extra overweight. She's very like you could see that it carries over. Always has very good behavior. She's very every kid's gonna have their outbursts or their this or whatever,
Meltdowns.
but it's very, very, very few and far between,
That's
which
amazing.
is awesome. We definitely see it, which is awesome.
That's
now,
awesome.
how old?
She's 4.
That age could get rough. I got a 4-year-old at home.
exactly, and she's playing. We got her. You were saying before. I think before we were getting started up, like the time. I swear to God, I think every day after school she's got something. She's got dance. She's got gymnastics. She has lacrosse now. She has soccer. She's moving, and so, which is awesome. And I swear, like she loves it too. She gets up there. We got her on skis this winter, and she's a trooper. She got it. It was like we got her out there. She's like, all right, let's go. And she just goes. And
My wife wants to get my kids skiing. I can't do it.
It's amazing.
awesome.
I'm terrible.
I
She's
love
all
it.
bundled up with the outfit.
Yeah. The outfit was amazing.
man,
It was a time of our lives.
Getting her
Enjoy
outside,
those moments, dude.
keeping her active translates later to a different life for her than her contemporaries.
For
'Cause
sure.
I see
And
all
look
these
at
kids
him
are
as the
sitting home.
example.
Yeah.
Look at him as the example. His parents set the precedent for food, and now his daughter is able to reap the benefits. If you had a different upbringing and you were smashing cupcakes and whatnot, she's going to be smashing
Well,
cupcakes.
I had that different upbringing. We had a rule of thumb. My mother made a half a pound of pasta or something for everybody at the table. So if there were 4 people, she was making 2 pounds of pasta.
Right.
Which is a lot.
Couldn't leave the table unless it was gone. on.
Well, and there was never any leftovers when
Right.
we were done.
Right.
So I grew up an eater. You know,
We had the clean plate club in my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You couldn't leave the table unless it was clean.
I mean,
but
even-
I was always outside
Right.
too, so I
Which
was
is
always
good.
active.
Yeah.
which
but-
is different now for these kids. Now
Yeah.
you give them a half a pound of
Yeah.
pasta and
Well, I
they're
mean-
sitting on the iPad for
Correct.
6 hours.
I mean, the world we live in too is like, you know what? It's not the same thing of like, all right, open the back door up.
Oh, yeah.
Every kid in the neighborhood's doors were open, and you were just in and out of everybody's houses.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's just a different world we're living in. So it's like, how do you create that for your child? All right, get them in
exactly what
you know,
you're doing with all these different things.
activities after school. You know, both of us, me and my wife, both get up early. We work out. My daughter sees us that we go to the gym. We exercise. It's part of our lives.
Yeah.
It's part of what we do. And so, you know, and we're usually like yesterday. I got out of the office. I think I got home by 4:00. And I was outside right away with my daughter. We got on. She's getting on a bicycle now at 4, which is awesome.
Yep.
You know, we went and there's a little river right by our house that we went down and saw the ducks. We're outside. We're running around. We play tag outside or kick the soccer ball around.
It's like the best thing ever,
You know?
though, because like he's 6 and he's on a bike. He's been riding, since he's 5, and I have a BMX bike now, so me and him will get out there together. But like Saturday, I got on. He's got a little quad, a little 50cc quad, and I chased him around my neighborhood while he was on his bike because he wants to. So Casey from Lifted for Life, who was a guest, his kids are into BMX racing, so we've gone to see him. Max wants to race, so now I'm behind him, and I'm like, "Let's go, get up, don't quit." And we have like a 0.27 mile loop on my block, and he did it twice, and he burned himself out. I was really proud of him.
That's awesome.
But like that was exciting and fun for him. Meanwhile, all the other kids, like they'll sit inside or do whatever.
Yeah.
Max wants to be outside all
That's
day.
great.
Yeah,
And
every
that's
day.
almost back to what AJ was talking about with the surfers and whatnot. Like, hey,
Yeah.
the sun's out. You know,
Yeah.
maybe you got your shoes off. Maybe you're grounding. You got a little bit of a sweat going. You're feeling good.
I actually think my kids ground on purpose because they love going outside without their shoes on, and I don't think they realize they're doing
Yeah,
something.
it probably feels good.
but it feels
do.
good. That's
It's almost like you think about like sometimes you see like cats or dogs or do things that you're like, what the heck? But it's like almost innate in us.
Yeah,
we
they
lose
find that spot in the sun.
The kids have that like innately in them, and then we lose it over these years. You know, we're always in these rubber soles. We're inside. We just
Yeah.
lose it.
Yeah.
Where almost we have to make that intentional movement and to do it
Yep.
and like educate ourselves to realize like, yeah, this is good. And then we actually have to like make that effort, the accountability to do it over and over. And then you almost become like, just like cold plunging for you. It's become so addicted that you
Right.
need it and want it.
Right.
Where it's the same thing with grounding. But as kids, it's like, all right, everyone's outside, shoes off, muddy feet, bloody knees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
dirty.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's how I grew up. Like,
Same.
you know?
Yeah,
Same
that's
here.
how I grew up, and I'd like
That's
to
how
get
the
back to
world
that.
was.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
but
world
your
doesn't-
block is pretty similar to that. You
Yeah.
got that old school vibe over there.
Everybody's outside.
That's
great.
All the parents will
Out and
talk
about.
to each other.
Yeah.
It's nice.
We got a nice neighborhood like that
Good.
too, where we live. It's probably not like it's not like a cul-de-sac or anything, but we have a nice little neighborhood that's very like family oriented. It's kind of like a HOA type feel, like
Yeah.
type thing where like, okay, it's a community.
Right.
So there is like that feel there, which is nice. And I think that a lot more young families have moved in recently when we moved in over the last couple of years.
Solid.
When we moved in-
community is key.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So we moved from a house. I've said it before. We were told we couldn't have kids. We buy a house on a main road because it wasn't really a concern for me that my kids needed somewhere to ride a bike. We were told we couldn't have any. Now I have 3. And last year, we were able to put a deal together where we sold our house. We got into a brand new construction, all young families.
That's sick.
There's all kids everywhere. It's all young couples, 45 and under with young kids. Everybody's outside. It's like the greatest thing ever. When you could find people that you could relate to, that your kids can hang out, and it's safe. And we're like a little contained entity there.
Right.
There's nothing better. But I traded a beautiful home that was great for just me and my wife. It served no needs for my kids, though.
Yeah.
This is the opposite. It's great for my kids, and it's not exactly what I want.
Yeah.
But this is for them, and getting them outside
That's
and
what
us
it's
being
about,
able
yeah.
to be outside is perfect.
is. It's only it's only a short window that they're going to be this age. I've been thinking about like life on like 4-year blocks. So it's like you got high school for 4 years, college for 4 years. So it's like Carter's 4. He's
Yeah.
the same age as your daughter. I've seen like so much like growth in him. Like he was wild. He thinks he's Spider Boy, but like he's like coming into his own. And like I'm an emotional guy. Today is 19 years since my Pop Campbell died. My sister, I was telling you about him. He was like an emotional guy with like happy tears. And I thought maybe I was a little bit weird for a while there that I do wear my heart on a sleeve. And I was saying, I wish I can keep my thermostat at like 69, just be not too high, not too low. But like, I'm thankful for the highs and the lows.
You wouldn't
and, like,
be you.
I say that in like my gratitude prayer every day. Like, thank you for the struggles. Thank you for the obstacles. Like today when I got in, I said again, like, thank you for this cold plunge. Like, thank you for allowing me to find it. If I wasn't in such a dark, overwhelmed state, I wouldn't have searched for these answers for myself.
Yeah.
So, but my Pop Campbell, he was like, he would always have like happy tears. And, you know, he had all these grandbabies looking around. And Carter's got that same emotional, like, he's got this similar emotion to me where he goes wild, he has a blast. But if you have to like yell at him for a sec, he'll get a little bit upset and he'll come up randomly, give Abby a hug, and I'm like, oh, that's my sweet boy. But the next 4-year window, Mason's 9. His next 4 window is going to be 8. Now I'm thinking, Mason, holy shoot, he's so close to middle school right now. And when you're in middle school, you might as well be in high school at that point. So like, you know, making that
and
time.
it's gonna happen in the blink of an eye.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Making that time that you guys are talking about, I fell into like that yes man, people pleaser aspect. And if I go too far into that yes man, people pleaser, I'm gonna blink my eye, and all these things that I went and chose, whether it was had good intentions or not, to, you know, go say yes to somebody else and kind of like leave these kids on the back burner. Before you know it, man, I'm trying to tell some of my friends and whatnot, dude. Like I was talking to somebody last night. Mason wanted to have a sleepover at one of his football bros at 9 years old. The parent said that their son isn't into sleepovers. I was like, that's fine, because there's going to be a point in time where they're going to want to stay out all the time and they're not going to want you. So embrace the fact that they just want to stay home for now.
Well, like, I know I'm not going to be the cool dad in the near future. I'm not going to say distant because, listen, realistically, 8 years goes like that. Yeah, it does. And I mean, when this kid's in high school, he's not going to want me around. Last night, I'm sitting on my porch getting ready to go to a zoning board meeting. He's outside with my neighbor's kid, and him and Caleb are playing, and I start yelling, Max, you look so pretty today. I'll see you later, princess, when I was leaving. And he got so embarrassed.
I'm sure.
But I loved every minute of it because, like, I break his chops. He's got two little sisters at home. And I'll always be like, where are my girls to give me a hug? And, like, he'll come over to beat the girls like it's a competition. And I'll be like, oh, my little princess. And I'll give him a hug. So, like, I kind of gave him some shit last night.
That's funny.
And he laughed and he dealt with it, but... that's going to get embarrassing to him in a couple of years, and he's going to hate me. He's going to hate me. I get it. But I'll take the time today because he still laughed at me. I was a goofy dad just making fun of him, you know? But it's short windows. You're right, Petey.
Such a blessing to be in this parent role, dude.
Oh, it's the best,
Such a blessing.
Yeah.
It's fucking stressful, though, too.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
100%.
I mean, think about it. We talk about, like, the time management.
Bro, it's brutal.
And I think that's really the biggest thing is the time management with the kids. It's like, you know, my wife's always like, oh, you know, you got to be here. You got to be there. You don't see the kids enough, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm out here trying to supply for the family. And I trust me, I make so many efforts to be around. And today I'll go pick up my daughter from dance. I'll get there tomorrow probably for whatever we have to get, you know, whatever she has tomorrow. I think she has lacrosse tomorrow. It's like, I'll be there. You know, I get there, and then on the weekends, you know, she has soccer on the weekends. I haven't been able to get there because of, you know, but usually it's like afterwards I'm outside with her doing all types of great stuff. So I'm around. Yeah. But that time management factor, like, you know, I get to the gym at 5 a.m., but, you know, usually she gets her up around 6:30. So I'm home around 6. I usually shower quickly. I'm up. Usually she gets up. Andy will get up with me, and I usually don't get out of the house till 8:30. So I spend an hour and a half to 2 hours right there in the morning with her.
At least you get some time in the morning.
Which is nice. And it is a nice little time. We usually, you know, make breakfast, you know, whatever we do, you know, get dressed and this and that. It's a really nice little morning. And then typically sometimes the other one will get up and we'll usually go in, get her, feed her, you know, the whole 9 yards. So it's, you know, and usually my wife's out doing her gym thing, whatever she's doing. But you know, those couple hours in the morning are special, you know.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, I don't get that. I usually leave when they're asleep, but he's been waking up with me in the morning the last like week, and I'll find myself, he'll come to cuddle with me. And I will set a timer for an extra 10 minutes just to sit there, hold my son, because I don't get that.
Yeah.
Usually I'm up and out of the house before they're awake.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. There's been times that, you know, I was out of the house before they were getting up, and I've had to make those changes in my schedule to be prioritized, you know, being there with them and having that special time. So
I'm so glad
you know,
you're aware of that.
You know, there. Trust me, you know, you see me as a business guy. Is like I'd like to be out of the house by 7.
Right.
You know, I want to be out of the house. I'd rather just leave at 5 and shower at the gym and go off to the races.
Yeah.
But you know, you can't. You gotta put that time in. You gotta realize that no, you know what? It's more important, because I think I saw someone make a quote the other day or said something. It was like, you're never gonna regret spending more time with your kids.
I saw the same thing.
You're gonna regret working too much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you're never, no matter how much success or how much failure you have in your business, you're never gonna regret spending too much time with your kid. And it's
100%.
like, all right, well, that really hit me. It really did.
So in our wheelhouse,
but
exactly what you're talking about.
It hit me so hard, man. It really
I
did.
agree with that, but for me,
Yeah.
I lived for work. You know, that was my baby before my
You
baby.
see me, like, I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, but it was my baby before my baby.
Yeah.
So like, and we discussed this with Danny Saba. My son was born. That first 2 years, like, I knew I loved him. I knew I wanted to be an amazing dad, but I didn't have that connection and that bond. Like, he still needed his mother. I'm not feeding. I mean, I fed him bottles, but like, my wife did everything.
Yeah.
Now that's my guy, and I realize it. But that first 2 years, bro, I was still at work the same way I was before.
Yeah.
Now I figured out I got to find that balance and what's actually important.
You have to give yourself some grace, because you guys at least have been able to modify. You have the awareness to plug and play. What we were saying with Danny,
Which is true
too.
success.
Well,
You're
and that's
growing.
the thing.
You're growing. Your awareness.
Exactly.
Your awareness. The growth that's what's occurring.
Yeah.
Which is, it's if you sat here and were like, say you said to us, we're like, you're crazy. No, I get out of work. I'm not changing. Like you're aware of it, and you're growing. You're changing.
Absolutely.
Which is amazing.
And that's what being successful is now. So I said that to say, like, you know, for me, success has changed. You could have an ultimately successful business, or you could have a successful business that ultimately fails at some point. But your children are always going to consistently love you. I mean, as long as you're doing the right thing as a parent. I come home, that little boy over there just wants to hug me.
Yeah, whether you made $0 today or $1
Doesn't
million,
matter.
they don't know.
It does not matter to that kid. Dad's home. I want to hug him. Let's play baseball. Let's ride bikes, whatever.
Yep.
My girls do, like, I have no hair, but they'll comb my beard with their brush, and they'll say they're doing my hair. Josephine wants to put lipstick on me and dress me up like Elsa now. Like,
you guys ever see like that? You ever see that image of like that one dad? He's all jacked with a beard. He's got like a tutu on. His daughter's like painting the nails.
Yeah,
like,
I'm good with that now.
I would totally go down that road.
Oh yeah.
But success is different today for me than it was 10 years ago.
That's great.
And
it's amazing, and that's what it's all about. And what I was going to say, I'm like the OG dad here. I've only been at it for 9 years. You've only been at it for 6 years.
Yeah.
You've only been at it for 4 years. We don't have it all figured out.
No, far from it.
But what I was saying is, and what I said to Danny Saba is, like, there's another side to all this. If you guys weren't aware, you could go chase the dollar, and then what are you left with at the end of the day? You have nothing but regret.
Yeah.
So keep audible and keep plugging and playing. We've only been at it for a few years.
That's really
we
the
don't
big
have
thing.
it all
Like,
figured
you know,
out.
I mean, I think that it's crazy. Andy was born January 2020. You know, obviously March 2020, the world shut down.
That's
so
right when
I
Carter
actually,
was
so
born.
so I actually got to, you know, my office shut down for a while, and we
You
weren't
got to
even
enjoy her.
we weren't actually even going back to full schedule yet.
Right.
And even when we went back and opened back up, so I actually got to be home a ton during that time, and actually just like sit on the couch and work on the computer and do those things and be around my daughter, which was crazy at that time. And I'm so grateful for it. But I think it was weird that like that kind of like set the precedent of me realizing it right off the bat that like,
Isn't that
I don't
beautiful?
think like, because all of a sudden I got busier again, and I actually started being like, this sucks.
Right.
Like what am I, like, I'm just killing myself. I'm not around them enough. I'm not like, I have to make some changes.
Good.
And, you know, obviously I've made some changes that I technically, like, I could just not go to, obviously I love going to Thrive, and I love my employees, everyone there. I actually enjoy going. Like,
Right.
I really do truly enjoy showing up. I actually, like, want to go to my office. I really enjoy it. But we have it running so well, and I have such great employees that like literally I don't have to go.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like I don't. I truly don't. Like that office can run. Like I have such great leaders and great everybody, all the pieces that like I don't have to show up now.
Right.
So I can actually go leave at 2:00, leave at 3 when I feel like it.
That's beautiful.
You know, to go spend with the family, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, which
You're carving out your piece of,
you know,
I'm not going to say peacefulness, but you're carving out your little time and your recipe for success. I mean, if work can run itself and you don't have to stress,
Yep.
maybe you get a couple phone calls, but you have time.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I want to keep pushing it. I love it. I
Yeah.
truly enjoy it. So it's like, you know, you're never going to see me not showing up.
But you have the liberty
yeah.
to take that time if
yeah.
you want.
Like
Which
I
is
can,
huge.
I can be home by at the latest at any given day. Most of the days I could be out of the office by 2-3 o'clock.
That's nice.
You know, and I can take my time getting in now too.
Yeah,
a lot of the
good.
days. So like I could play with my time, which is great. But I think COVID and that type of stuff realized like I had to create the business that I wanted to get there because
100%.
there has been time in between there that like it wasn't that way.
Right.
I was forced to be at that office till 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it was only but myself, and every decision had to be made by myself, and I had to do it, but I had to make the changes
Good.
to get there, to be
Yeah.
able to get out of the office when I feel like it. You know,
That's amazing.
You know, so
You got to put the pieces in place.
I mean, you guys, you know, made the comment about the employees and the staff. You know, I mean,
was
it's
gonna ask you what the hiring like how is that created? Like it's not like the job force these days. There's a long ass line of people with like great energy, great personality, willing to work hard. Like, how did you even find everybody?
I mean, almost. So there's been different pieces here and there, but you know, you know, it's weird that a lot of people were word of mouth, but you know, there's certain pieces that have come off of like an Indeed or a recruiter type stuff. But I think when people walk in or vice versa, you meet, the energy's there. And you realize it's like, all right, this person's a good person. I mean, there's been other people that work for me that aren't there no more.
True.
Because they weren't the right fit. The energy wasn't there, or vice versa.
You can't be right every time.
You know, and it definitely is a huge thing of like a cultural fit. And, you know, one of the biggest steps I made was actually, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what I think called EOSs.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurial operating systems. It was probably the best decision I've made.
Wow.
At the beginning, it was probably one of the scariest because it's not a cheap investment.
And there's a lot of hard truth going on
there's-
in those combos.
Dude, those first couple days are literally like I was like because like
Charterina, your rep.
he's my boy. He's my
Okay.
guy. He's our. It's called an integrator.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, like those first couple days were super uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
And the amount of money you have to lay out, and then you know there's a lot of vulnerability. There's a lot of just pieces, but
He
literally.
makes it break down like what role you have, and before you know it, you're like,
Well,
oh crap, I'm in every column.
The problem is, I literally was. I was
Yeah, I bet.
I was every seat.
I bet my brother-in-law utilizes that service down in Virginia.
I was every seat,
yeah.
and it was like, well,
Which one do you like the most?
I'm
Okay,
the,
I like
I'm-
this
well,
one.
I was my own cog in the wheel. Like I was the cog in the wheel, and not allowing for the business to truly.
Even that personal
You know,
awareness for
you know,
you to do
well, I
is
mean,
great.
I had to do it, and at the end, like, I mean, now I got Shannon making a ton of great decisions. I got Danielle killing it, like doing stuff. I got Vinny taking really big leaps and bounds. I
got
got
the online booking now, which is a game changer.
You know, I got a lot of things that we've been able to. Yeah, because the thing is, by me taking myself out a lot of seats, I've been able to actually go do things like that and plug in, like, you know, work on these things with other people that have allowed me to actually, like, this is freehold. Having freehold, like, would have never happened if I probably didn't make that change because, you know, being out there looking at opportunities, looking at, you know, what's next for the business.
Yeah.
Where before I was managing and treating all day long.
And it almost
didn't have
allows
any
those
time.
employees to feel like fulfilled, accomplished,
They-
like they actually
yeah,
did something. Like
yep.
if it's just like, oh, I got it, I
Yeah.
got it. Well, it's
Yeah,
like,
I
what
mean-
am I doing here then? If AJ's got everything, what am I even? What
Yeah.
are you even bothering hiring me for? You know?
Yeah. It's actually you know, and I think every one of the employees could say the same. It's been a really game changer for us.
That's great.
Which is huge.
Nice.
You know.
That is awesome.
So what do you think the Thrive brand is going to wind up? Do you think you're going to continue to build and grow, or are you content just opening a freehold now, or are you taking over the whole area?
You know, so there's multiple different directions that like the vision has. But I do have a bigger vision in this whole cold plunge thing.
Yeah.
I really have like, especially with the social wellness and stuff. And, you know, I was actually up looking at a space yesterday in Little Silver. I can't say it's going to happen or not. But the vision of what I see is going to happen. And whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months, or 12 months, you know, I have this big vision of something that's, you know, we talked about the Bear and Birch, which is an amazing business, and those guys are killing it over there. But there's a whole population that that doesn't fit into that space that really needs this.
Right.
That still needs cold plunging, needs social wellness, needs sauna. You know, and that's what I'm going to bring to the world. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm excited for that.
Social wellness,
you know, but that's what I'm going to bring. It's that population that's not going to those places. I'm not saying that because a lot of those guys, that guy doesn't fit in the Thrive brand. Like, yes, there's guys, there's overlap.
There are overlap.
There's overlap.
For sure.
You know, Joe Castellano goes to Bear and Birch every day, comes to Thrive every day. Like, you know, they double dip. Like, there's guys that double dip.
That's what I call doing 2 plunges a day.
We got double dippers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a humongous piece of population that needs it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not even aware of it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they you know, and then not for nothing too is like, you know, take the house mom or take the
house moms definitely need a place to go.
But
that's outside of the kids.
Yeah.
And
but guess
Somewhere
what?
for a release.
But they're not going into Bear and Birch.
Right. No.
You know what I mean? It's too intimidating.
Yeah.
It's just not welcoming for that population.
Mm-hmm.
You build a space that's very welcoming, you know, higher end, that's like that allows for that the welcomeness to be there.
That's important.
At the same time, have that wellness aspect, have all those things, make it a little bit higher end luxury feel. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a home run, and it's going to come. Whether it's, again, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now, it's going to happen. So I see that's where the Thrive brand probably growing.
I like the approach, and like Pete said, social wellness is a huge thing. And I mean, if you think about it, Danny Regan, that's basically
what he created.
Well, yeah. So I don't know if you've ever heard of CFC Loud and Clear, Relevance, Behavioral Health, and Freehold. Danny was a guest on here. Their aftercare system for his substance abuse program is actually basically just social wellness.
Right.
It's putting like-minded people in a room.
In a sober space.
Correct.
You know?
To support each other. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's the same thing, but I could draw parallels with what you're trying to do. And I mean, social wellness is a huge thing, and it affects every part of society today.
And I don't know what the numbers look like as far as like depression these days in this world, 2024 right now. The suicide figures, stress levels, credit card debt, financial struggles. I mean, people need these things now more than ever. And you talk about this social wellness, and all I've been thinking about every time that comes up is that when I was in that dark, lonely place, working from home, no driver's license, like, I needed people. Yeah. You know, I needed people. I would justify in my mind, like, oh, I'm fine. I'm still closing loans. Like, I don't have a driver's license. I'll just walk places. And I, like, felt better on my walk and different things. But, like, one of my lines is, like, people helping people. Yeah. And it doesn't need to be in business. Like, hey,
just life,
I'm going to help you. You help me. It's just we socially need each other. You know, we're not.
When that happened, I remember I used to send Emily to pick you up or whatever, just because I knew deep down, like, maybe you needed to get out.
With Emily, that was so nice. We would just sit and talk to somebody.
We're not born to be alone.
No,
we're not.
No,
we're not.
You know,
I know, and I feel like when people get into their worst mental states, they are secluding themselves.
100%.
You know,
it's crazy how you can find yourself going down those dark holes sometimes, and it's like, you really going into a place like this, though, like we're talking about, and getting around people that are like, you finding yourself around like you, like all excited, and like you could pull someone right out of a hole, real quick.
Positive Pete,
positive Pete, like beat around that, like, like it really can, which is crazy.
That's amazing.
You know.
So you have this vision to like keep going, but there's also like this monster demand of like people like needing to feel better. And, you know, Ev and I talk about a lot of people even younger than him. And we're kind of feeling like this younger generation is like not really drinking as much. they're finding, like, you see younger people over at Thrive. One of the guys that I was in the sauna with, he's one of the MMA guys, and he was a Marine, and he just won his fight, and like he was telling me his whole story. But like we're kind of like the younger people now are on board, like before we got on board, or before I got on board.
Yeah.
You know,
Young athletes today are taking it much more serious than say when we did when we were kids. Like
a lot more stuff accessible and understanding of the education,
right.
and that's another thing behind what we're doing is like, you know, the accessibility for these athletes of allowing for them to have access to these things.
Yeah.
You know, you see it in collegiate or professional locker rooms or these things, but that's a whole nother avenue of what the Thrive Recovery Lounge is. You know, that's, you know, really, you know, we could go on a whole nother rabbit hole down that,
Definitely.
you know, so.
Somebody actually commented on one of your team threads. I think it actually may have been Joe McCullough, but he said that there's actually like some team bonding, or maybe it was you. There's actually some team bonding that goes on that day. I don't know if you've seen those
100%.
videos.
Yeah.
They send them all in there.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. They're all getting out of their comfort zone.
It's
They're
huge.
getting into the plunge. They're cheering each other on.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
that's
mean,
team building
Yeah,
right
I mean,
there.
even businesses have done it and come in, and
Yeah.
it's you know team bonding within the workplace. But
sure.
you know, especially during like seasonal stuff, like what's one more hard practice
Right.
really truly gonna do? What's these coaches screaming at these kids running sprints or
Probably more
all
harm
these
than good.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like what's one? But like how like all right, let's actually take some time and go to the Thrive Recovery Lounge.
Yeah.
You know, have team bonding, maybe bring this team a little bit better.
Yep.
Bigger, stronger together going into that playoff
those
push
tough
in those
moments.
tough moments,
Yeah.
all doing the cold plunge, get recovery in.
Exactly.
So but like at the same time doing that thing together versus like, all right, we're just gonna go outside and practice together,
Right.
or you know these things. So really, there's that vision there too with that whole aspect of what we've created.
But it works too. Like when we think about when we went, it was me, you, Sidey, Zach, and then we had Matt to the group.
Matt just happened to be there. Yeah.
But you're building a sense of community. You have no choice but to bond, especially like Pete's getting in the cold
Well, you're
plunge.
suffering.
that's a bunch of
You're
adults.
suffering.
Yeah.
You're
That's a
suffering.
bunch
You're
of
suffering.
adult-
You're
yeah.
suffering.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Which is
You're
always a
suffering.
great
You know,
place.
you're truly suffering.
That's what I call in wrestling. I call them battle bros, and it's
Yeah.
like the same concept. It's like those are the guys that you suffered with the most. Like
Yeah.
those are the strongest bonds.
Yeah, getting
Yeah.
getting that hole with, you know.
100%. Even that hot sauna is suffering.
I could
bro, at
do
the
this
end of
on
the
all day.
Yeah.
But I know AJ, you got to get
Yeah.
out of here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
we're
we have
running
a man.
close.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, I can't thank you for coming in enough. I wish we
Yeah.
had a little bit more time. I know you're
Yeah,
pressed
yeah,
to get
this
to
is
your
awesome.
office.
But even your energy frequency, like I felt fine before I got here, but we were talking about you could either be a vacuum of someone's energy and suck it out, or you could be a battery. All right. So last week we were talking with Kylie. You're a battery. Your smile, your energy, your mindset, you're a battery that charges up others. I'm a battery. I'm trying to get to generator status though.
You're working on it. You're getting there. Bro, you're getting there.
All right. I don't know about AAA,
Generator.
AA
There we
right
go.
now, but-
Generator. I
You're
like
like
that.
a
I like that
9
one.
volt. You're like a
Pound
big
that, pound
battery.
that.
All right. So call me a 9 volt.
You're a 9
I'm
volt
trying to
right
get
now.
the generator.
You're getting
though,
there.
So
Oh my God.
I got to keep going in the
You're getting
plunge. I
there.
got to keep doing things
I like
for
that.
me
Yeah,
to
I gotta
make sure I can
you know,
get there.
and you know what about the cold plunge? I mean, I'm guilty. You know, there's some mornings I get over there, I'm all pumped up to get in. I'm gonna go in the plunge. You know, blah blah blah, and then I don't get in. It's like I got to start getting in that thing like regularly, and it's like
Petey doesn't
I
miss.
actually, so I just bought 2 portable ones though, so I'm
Okay.
actually gonna throw one in my backyard. But
you go.
you know, little thing. When I'm gonna start taking these things on the road a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I did. We went
You
down
know,
to Virginia.
well,
I brought mine with
like
me.
you know, 2 businesses doing
Yeah.
things like of community feel, doing
They
things
had
with
that
this.
at Baron Birch,
So
too.
so you'll start seeing that too with this, with what
Yes.
we're doing. You know, and you might see some more offices pop up. We'll see how things go, but.
Sounds
like big things are on the
definitely we
horizon
have
for
a lot. We
Thrive.
got some visions for it. You know,
I
it's
love
just
it.
we'll
I
see
love
how
it.
it goes.
That's back
You know,
to EOS too with the
Yeah.
vision, because I
Yeah,
know he's got the
exactly.
vision board up there. Where do you want to be in 5 to 10
it's
years?
tough though. That's tough. It's very because you're like, all right, here's the projections, and then it's
Right.
like, oh well, things aren't working according. You know, it's
Right.
like like
Tough.
but it is tough. It's a very like
Yeah, but just
you
like
know?
being a parent, you could always
Yeah.
kind of plug and play. Maybe
Audible.
that vision was
You
a little
got-
too
you got-
much. Maybe
you got Audible a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
Audible, Hot Route,
Yeah.
Omaha at the
Oh
line.
my god.
For sure.
Being able to adapt and overcome is what life's about.
100%.
All right. So
Cool.
I guess AJ's got to go.
Yep.
You're looking like you're ready. Pack your
He's
water.
ready, dude. He's ready.
take
Dude.
him.
What time? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right
All
on
right,
the money.
guys, we
15 minutes.
appreciate you tuning in. We hope you enjoyed AJ's episode. Anybody who wants to get into a cold plunge or a sauna, check out Thrive. We're obviously big fans of it. Hopefully AJ will be back on soon. And like, share, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. Thank you and have a great day, guys.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yee-yee.